The story opens with a dazzling image of Lena Hart standing under a shower of camera flashes, the diamond necklace around her neck gleaming like a crown of success. To the world, she's the embodiment of perfection, beautiful, graceful, and soon to be married to Evan Crawford, a man everyone calls a dream. But beneath the flawless exterior, Lena feels hollow. The smile she gives the cameras isn't joy, but performance. Her eyes, though framed by glittering light, carry the weight of exhaustion, the kind that comes from living a life built on appearances rather than truth. As the engagement party unfolds, the crowd buzzes with champagne and envy. Evan, ever the showman, raises his glass and speaks of loyalty, devotion, and a love that conquers doubt. The guests swoon, yet Lena's attention drifts to the soft vibration of his phone. When she glimpses the name Sophie M glowing on the screen, her chest tightens. She keeps her composure, the perfect fiancé, while her thoughts spiral in quiet panic. Every compliment she receives feels like mockery, and every toast feels like a lie only she can taste. Later, beneath the city's silver skyline, Lena steps out onto the balcony for air, her engagement ring catching the moonlight. Evan joins her, wrapping his arms around her waist as if sealing the illusion of perfection. His words, "You'll never have to doubt me again," sound like a promise, yet sting like betrayal. She forces a small smile, but her silence says what her lips cannot. In that moment, Lena's inner struggle crystallizes. She is surrounded by luxury, yet starved for honesty. This isn't a love story about wealth. It's about awakening. Lena Hart's journey began far from the glittering skyline she now calls home. Raised by a hardworking mechanic after losing her mother too soon, she grew up surrounded by grease-stained hands and unspoken love. Her father taught her that honesty was the only real wealth. Determined to build something beautiful out of the ordinary, Lena became an interior designer, her art turning simplicity into elegance. But success came with a cost. The higher she climbed, the more she learned to hide her roots, to smile at deceit, and to accept that truth had no place among the powerful. Evan Crawford, by contrast, was born into luxury, charm, and control his natural armor. As the face of a multi-million-dollar real estate empire, he equates love with possession and perfection with loyalty. To him, Lena is the ultimate prize, the woman who completes his public image. Yet behind his polished gestures lies quiet dominance. He rewrites her social media captions, approves her outfits, and reshapes her identity until she fits his brand. Their home, a penthouse of glass and marble, gleams like a monument to success, but feels emptier with every word left unsaid. Around Lena orbit the few who still see her truth. Mara, her best friend, is a journalist who never learned to sugarcoat warnings. She reminds Lena that red flags don't disappear under diamond rings. Sophie, Evan's so-called business associate, embodies everything Lena fears: glamour, mystery, and temptation. And then there's Daniel Hart, Lena's estranged father, whose reappearance later becomes her lifeline. Together, they frame her emotional battle. Lena's desperate need for authenticity collides with her fatal flaw, mistaking silence for peace. She's built a beautiful life, yet one whisper of truth could shatter it all. The moment everything changes begins quietly. At her design studio, Lena receives a small, unmarked package. No sender, no note, just a flash drive labeled "You deserve to know." Her pulse quickens as she plugs it into her laptop. The screen flickers, revealing grainy security footage from one of Evan's luxury properties, a place she helped design. Her breath catches when she sees him there, laughing, touching Sophie with the tenderness he once reserved for her. No dramatic tears fall, only stillness. A hollow ache spreads through her chest as the truth she's avoided finally takes shape. That night, the city hums below their penthouse as Lena confronts him. Her voice trembles, but her eyes are steady. Evan watches her like a man rehearsing calm. When she tells him what she saw, his denial is smooth, practiced. It's a setup, he insists, claiming jealous investors are trying to ruin them. When she refuses to back down, his tone sharpens, turning accusation into manipulation. "You're too emotional, Lena. You're sabotaging us." Each word lands like a slap, rewriting reality until she almost doubts herself. The gaslighting is so subtle, so familiar, that she begins to question her own clarity. But this time, Lena doesn't fold. She doesn't scream or pack her bags, she observes. Her silence shifts from submission to strategy. Every lie, every inconsistency, she begins to record in the quiet corners of her mind. The necklace, the messages, the way he avoids certain calls, all become evidence of a truth she's finally ready to uncover. She realizes that leaving now would mean walking away blind. So she stays, not out of fear, but resolve. For the first time, her silence isn't weakness. It's preparation for the reckoning she knows is coming. Lena's days turn into a haze of confusion and quiet despair. Evan's words twist around her thoughts until she can no longer trust her own instincts. One moment he's affectionate, the next he's cold, and somehow, every argument ends with her apologizing. She finds receipts for luxury gifts that were never hers, perfume bottles she doesn't own, and hotel bookings she can't explain. Online, Sophie's cryptic captions, "Some secrets are worth the risk," echo too closely to Lena's private pain. Each discovery chips away at her reality, leaving her trapped between denial and unbearable clarity. Evan's solution is always the same: diamonds. When he gifts her a $200,000 bracelet, he calls it a symbol of love. But Lena sees only the weight of manipulation. The gems glimmer beautifully under the light, but to her, they're stones of deceit. Polished lies designed to blind her. Each piece of jewelry becomes a silent reminder of the truth she's too scared to face. Meanwhile, Mara's investigation into Evan's empire reveals darker cracks: financial fraud, emotional exploitation, and a pattern of control over other women. Lena's private torment suddenly feels less like love and more like entrapment. The breaking point comes at a glittering charity gala. The crowd shimmers in gowns and champagne laughter, but Lena feels like she's drowning in noise. Across the room, she spots Evan, his hand resting on Sophie's lower back, his smile too intimate, too familiar. Their eyes lock. He smirks, confident she'll play her role. But instead of collapsing, Lena smiles, calm, radiant, deadly composed. It's the moment her heart stops breaking and starts hardening. Beneath her elegant facade, a quiet rebellion ignites. For the first time, she decides, no more pretending, no more diamonds, no more lies. The night of reckoning arrives dressed in elegance. Lena prepares a candlelit dinner, soft music, fine wine, her calm smile hiding the storm beneath. Evan walks in, disarmed by the scene, convinced her submission has returned. They dine in polite conversation, his arrogance filling the quiet spaces. Then, mid-meal, Lena lifts a remote and presses play. The wall behind her flickers to life, the security footage. Evan's laughter with Sophie fills the room, echoing like a cruel confession. Two of his key investors, invited under the pretense of a partnership dinner, watch in stunned silence as his empire begins to crumble. The mask Evan wears finally shatters. His charm turns to venom. His voice rises, raw and unfiltered. "You don't understand the world I built for us," he yells, desperation cracking through his composure. Lena stays seated, unflinching, her voice calm as glass. "No, Evan," she says softly. "You build it for yourself. I was just the decoration." The words slice deeper than any accusation. From the next room, Mara quietly records every second. her camera capturing not just his guilt, but the man behind the illusion, entitled Panicked. Exposed. For once, Lena doesn't tremble. She's finally the one in control. When Evan storms out, fury boiling in his veins, flashing red and blue lights wash over the marble walls. Police swarm the entrance, their voices echoing commands. Hours earlier, Mara had submitted her findings, a dossier of Evan's financial fraud, manipulation, and deceit. Now, the truth arrives in uniform. As he's handcuffed, his protests dissolve into the night, his once perfect image shattered beyond repair. Lena stands still, silent, her reflection gleaming in a shattered wine glass beside her. Around her wrist, the diamond bracelet catches the light, no longer a promise, but a warning. Beauty, finally, stripped of lies. In the quiet aftermath, Lena's world shrinks. The penthouse, the designer gowns, the glittering events all fade into memory. The tabloids move on, and so does she. What remains is a small apartment overlooking the same streets where she grew up. The scent of engine oil and morning bread lingering in the air. For the first time in years, she wakes without fear of pretense. No cameras, no expectations, no performance, just peace. The silence that once felt suffocating now feels sacred. Lena has lost everything society once told her mattered, yet somehow, she feels lighter than ever before. With the savings she has left, Lena opens a modest design studio and names it True Form. The name reflects not only her craft but her rebirth. Gone are the sterile, lavish interiors meant to impress. Instead, she designs spaces that breathe honesty, raw wood, imperfect textures, personal meaning. Her only rule for clients is simple: no lies about what you want. Each project becomes a quiet act of healing, teaching her that authenticity can be just as beautiful as luxury. People come to her not for prestige, but for truth, and in giving it, she finally finds her own. One evening, Daniel visits her studio, his hands still marked by years of mechanical work. They talk long after closing, the air thick with unspoken forgiveness. "You finally stopped decorating someone else's story," he says, his voice warm with pride. For the first time, Lena doesn't look away. She laughs softly, not the perfect laugh of the woman she used to play, but a real one. The past still aches, but it no longer defines her. As sunlight filters through the open window, Lena smiles, not perfectly, but truthfully, the kind of smile that only freedom can create. The morning light pours through the wide studio windows, painting the walls of True Form in soft gold. Lena sits at her desk surrounded by sketches, plants, and the quiet hum of her new life. She reaches for a small velvet box tucked in the corner, the last remnant of her old world. Inside lies the diamond bracelet Evan once used to buy her silence. For a moment, she studies it. How it sparkles, how beautiful and empty it feels. Then she exhales, a steady breath of release, and closes the lid. Its meaning no longer holds power over her. Later that afternoon, she walks into a small jewelry shop, the kind that doesn't ask questions. The diamonds catch the light one last time as she places them on the counter. No name, no backstory, just a quiet transaction. The money goes directly to a women's recovery fund, her final act of transformation. What was once a symbol of manipulation becomes an offering of freedom for others. As she steps outside, the wind brushes her hair and she smiles faintly, realizing that letting go doesn't always come with drama. Sometimes it's just peace wrapped in sunlight. Back in her studio, Lena picks up a pen and writes a note on a scrap of paper. "He gave me diamonds, but I only wanted honesty." Turns out, truth shines brighter than any stone. She leaves it on her desk before locking up for the day. The camera lingers on her face, calm, unguarded, free. The skyline outside glows, not with wealth, but with warmth. She walks away, her footsteps steady, her heart unburdened. For the first time, Lena isn't living in someone else's story. She's writing her own. The screen fades out, soft and luminous, like closure itself.